The Witcher 3 has now been out for 5 years, and I have completed it on pretty much everything you can. PC, Xbox One, PS4, and today I just finished my over 60-hour main game playthrough on the Nintendo Switch, and I've still got to go through all the DLC again and go around and do everything, so much to do. However, I just wanted to pass on my knowledge from the game, as I've played it a hell of a lot over these past 5 years and continue to play it. I just want to be able to give something back to people who may be picking up the game for the first time, especially as The Witcher is now popular on Netflix and the second season is just around the corner. So, here are a few little tips that I can give for you starting in the open area of White Orchard. Starting with, combat is going to be a large part of your gameplay experience, being a Witcher, which is a monster hunter, so you're going to want to get to grips with combat. Now, combat is different and varies from enemy to enemy. This is not a hack and slash game. If you go in, especially to a mob of enemies, and just try and hack and slash your way, you'll get bounced around like a ping pong ball and then bitch slapped down to the ground. Every single enemy has weaknesses which can be found in the bestiary. Here you can see with this ghoul that, you could use necrophage oil. Now, of course, you'll need to find the recipe and the ingredients to be able to craft said necrophage oil, but don't fear, I will tell you where to get all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you just want to try and get to grips. Now, this gameplay footage I'm playing on Death March mode, which is, you take a couple of hits and you're dead, basically. This is a new game plus, so I'm just, going through, so that's why I'm making sure to dodge everything, and you have two separate options for evading. You can dodge or you can roll. I'd advise dodging, as rolling will use up your stamina, and your stamina bar, which is the little yellow bar underneath your little Witcher pendant in the top left hand corner, that is also used to use your like light Witcher spells, with Quen, which is the one that I've got there and the one I've got equipped. That is a shield. You can have Igni, which is fire, Ard, which is like using the force, Axi, which will render your enemies incompetent. Basically, you've got Yrden, which will create a ring around you, or just a ring on the floor, basically, which will slow down enemies, and it is also super effective against wraiths and other spectre-like enemies. And you can use bombs, the crossbow, you can use different items within the game. I'm going to make a separate video on combat, so I'll dive more into the nitty-gritty there. But yeah, all you want to do in White Orchard is fight things, learn their patterns, learn when to dodge and when not to dodge. Rolling will come into effect when you're fighting bigger enemies, like golems, for example, or elementals, which will use massive area of attacks. Another great big tip I can give is to just not plow on with the main story. You're going to want to explore. Now, at these notice boards here, you can find Witcher contracts, side quests, treasure hunts, all of that kind of goodness that you'll want to do. And believe me, you'll want to do all of them, because if we go in and open up the map here and then zoom out, this is just the small opening area of The Witcher 3 White Orchard, and all them question marks. You'll want to go and explore all of them, because they will reap some excellent rewards. I'm not going to spoil it, because I want to leave some to the imagination and what you'll find, but believe me, take this and multiply it by a lot, and that's all over The Witcher 3. Everywhere, whether that's in Velen, Novigrad, Skellige, there's a few at Kaer Morhen, and plus that's not including the DLC. So make sure that you do it, because the points of interest are like here, for example, the ghouls I was fighting earlier on, they were there at an abandoned site, and once you clear them out, you create another little settlement, which is pretty cool, and these are spread out everywhere. So make sure you explore. And here's another one which you may not think is consequential, but it's very consequential, and that is pick all these flowers that you see. You'll see their little leaves on the mini-map in the top right-hand corner, and you will definitely 100% want to grab every single one of these. They are useful in crafting potions and decoctions. Decoctions will give you temporary buffs, whilst potions will either give you healing, give you buffs in other ways, make you see in the dark, etc, etc. And there's this little hut here in White Orchard, centered in the middle, and she has absolutely loads of plants and flowers and all types of goodies around. Plus there's a little side quest there with her too that you can partake in. And that also brings me to my next topic. Much like with other Western RPGs, like Skyrim for example, you will want to loot the crap out of everything, and of course Geralt has a very handy Witcher sense which he can use to not only track monsters and find clues and blood trails and smells and etc, but also it will highlight anything lootable in yellow, and this is what you want to do. You want to make sure you loot all the alcohol you can, as alcohol can be used whilst resting at lower difficulties in the game to replenish all of your potions, and of course you can use them anyway to replenish potions. I would recommend anything that's a material, loot the crap out of that. I would not loot weapons or armor or anything like that, because that's just pointless, especially early on in the game. You don't want to be fanning about with any of that kind of business. But yeah, just go into people's houses and loot. However, do not loot in front of guards, because
I warned you. Die, Nordling. They came in there.
yeah, they're pretty much like the guards from Skyrim. They'll just mess you straight up. So make sure that if you're going to do some looting, make sure you're not looting in front of guards. So yeah, food, craftable items, runestones, that kind of thing. Loot all of that. Do not loot things that are... like, I wouldn't bother looting animal skins and stuff, because they will add it to your weight and you will become over-encumbered very, very quickly. So yeah, just watch out for that one. So yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long, as I plan on making an absolute load of Witcher content over the coming months or years, hopefully. But yeah, as long as you just, just polish up on your combat, you look absolutely everywhere and do a lot of exploring, obviously take on the side quests and the Monster Hunter contracts and the main quest, of course, because you'll need to do that to progress the story anyway. But as long as you pick up all the plants and flowers that you see, and then you loot all the necessary materials, then when you come across different manuscripts and recipes, you'll be able to craft those potions, and also you'll be able to grab blueprints for decent weapons and armor that blacksmiths can craft for you later on down the line. Things that you can find anyway can be broken down by blacksmiths into the necessary materials. So it all depends, and make sure that obviously when you kill the monsters, they'll leave behind a little blob of shit, basically, and you'll want to loot that, because that contains monster parts, and monster parts are an essential ingredient in crafting a hell of a lot of stuff. But anyway, like I said, I didn't want this video to go on for too long, because I plan on making loads of different specific ones, even ones about the characters, because I have so much to say about The Witcher 3 and only X amount of time. But I hope this has been of some use to you, and hopefully you check out any of the other Witcher videos that I'm going to be coming out with. And thank you very much for watching the video, and until next time.